Hi, I'm Andrew Plato. I'm an analyst with the Analysts Syndicate, and I focus on cybersecurity and the cloud. Today, I'm going to be talking about my new work, Cloud Eats Security. So, if we look back over the past 20 or so years, the information security community has played what I like to call an unwinnable game. And in this game, the attackers or the offense makes all the rules, sets all the timers, records all the points, and can get up and walk away from the game pretty much at any moment and lose nothing. Meanwhile, the defenders or the information security teams, they have no advantages. Moreover, their hands are completely tied with a set of rules, tools, and fools. That is to say, insidious compliance rules that rarely improve security, a universe of complex security tools which rarely interoperate correctly, and business executives that rarely understand security and just see it as a nuisance standing in the way of profit. The core problem of modern information security is that it is too complicated for human beings, or even a team of humans. The sheer magnitude of data and variables and the volatility in the technology, it's inhuman. So the natural answer there is to deputize all of the machines and cloud applications and artificial intelligence to do all the security dirty work for us. Unfortunately, that too has some impediments, as most organizations lack the skills to properly tune all those AI propensity models. Now, this might seem bleak, but there actually is a light at the end of the tunnel. And hiding in that light, and frankly in plain sight, are all the large cloud and SaaS providers like AWS and Azure and GCP. They see the mess that is the security industry, and they too have been burned by all the attacks. They also see security as yet another service they can offer alongside hosted Kubernetes or Active Directory. To find out more, read more about it. Cloud Eats Security at the Analyst Syndicate, and you can find out where these cloud providers are going, what they're planning, and how this is going to fundamentally reshape the security industry in the years to come. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dan Miklovic, lead analyst at the Analyst Syndicate covering manufacturing technologies. I look at all of the technologies that are used by manufacturers, heavy industry, asset intensive industries such as oil and gas, transportation, and others that have a need to ensure reliability to deliver their products and services. My coverage is predominantly around the impact that COVID has had, and my predictions are around how technology is going to impact your business in 2022. And I think what we saw in COVID was that it drove a technology investment that broke the mold for manufacturers. Up until 2020, late 2020, 2021, manufacturers pretty much lived by the expression, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and had one of the lowest investment rates in technology as a percent of revenue of all the industries. And COVID changed all of that. Things like the shortage of materials, the shortage of workers, the ability to put people in close proximity, all of those things really impacted manufacturing in particular. And it really drove people to start investing in technology. And that led to an incredible amount of hype in the industry. And we saw the vendor community, the media, and most importantly, the consulting community, talking digital transformation. It's going to, solve all your supply chain problems. It's going to solve all your talent shortages problems. It's going to solve a lot. And the things they said you should invest in are things like artificial intelligence and machine learning. This can really help you solve your labor shortage problem, particularly of technical skilled people. And if you invest in robots, you can eliminate the need or compensate for the lack of, more manual workers, the production line workers. And 3D printing, or as it's also known, additive manufacturing, was going to ease all your supply chain problems. Well, the reality is the technology is like a life preserver. It will keep you afloat, But if you don't put the effort in to really save yourself, that technology is not going to improve your business beyond just barely keeping your head above water. And what I mean by that is, okay, let's say you have a shortage of people and you put in a whole bunch of robots. Guess what? The biggest challenge businesses are having today that have invested in robots is keeping them up and running. There is a critical shortage in robotics technicians. Amazon, who is one of the largest investors in robotics, has struggled mightily. They've had to open their own training centers. They're offering 40% premiums for robotics technicians. And they've even had to go to the point of, having 30 to 40% more robots than they need just because of the breakage. And what they do is when a robot, breaks, they set it off to the side, replace it with a whole new unit, and then have teams of roving technicians who will fly in and service all of the broken robots. Most businesses can't afford that. So the answers are, you really need to think about which technology you need. You need to think about how you're going to use that technology to solve a problem, and can you really support that technology? So if you want to learn more about this, you can read all about it in my piece that I put up on the Thanson website about how technology will be a life preserver, but it will not save your business. So once you read that, I have a link on the Thanson website. You can schedule a 30-minute call with me to discuss this further, and I look forward to talking to you about the topic.
Hi, Nature News, a news magazine that is usually taken as a scientific journal, just came out with an article saying that quantum computing is not a given. It is actually a possibility in our future. I had been saying that for a couple of years. Just look at my post on the Analysts Syndicate website. Look at my post that came out 10 days before the Nature News article. Now, how can that happen? Nature is a constellation of scientific journals, about 200 of them, ranging from the excellent to the so-and-so, belonging to a larger publishing house. And so it treasons and it has the moves of a media behemoth. And media conglomerates like clickbait and advertising money better than scientific development. Now, this is Nature, and this is not just Nature, it's all of the others too. So concerning quantum computing, what you can do is sit back, relax, watch the marvelous, wonderful development of quantum information science conducted by some of the most brilliant minds in the world, and take a look at our posts in the Analysts Syndicate to figure out if and when a quantum computing industry will develop over the next 5 to 20 years, I would guess. Bye.
Hi, this is Tom Austin, and welcome to A World Without Truth. I started this work to answer the question, how does what we know about group polarization on the internet impact enterprises, and what should you do about it? Is this a gold mine or a tar pit? Let's see. In 2001, while Zuckerberg was still in high school, Cass Sunstein of Harvard foresaw the internet social software problems we see today. He predicted that the great informational advantages of the internet won't broaden users' horizons, they'll narrow. Users will begin to only form groups on the internet with those who share their views. The result? Group isolation, fragmentation, and polarization, a pattern that's been going on for centuries. The internet dramatically accelerates the process, and fake news pours gasoline on the smoldering fire. By the way, polarized groups are not limited to any one viewpoint. They're all over the map. Red versus blue, North versus South, Google versus Microsoft, whatever. These groups represent a world without truth to the extent they're unwilling to open dialogue with the outside world. So how does this relate to enterprise executives like you, and what should you do about it? This year, Facebook, Google, and Apple employees have all gone public with significant complaints about their employers' ethics. And there are less public examples illustrating negative impacts on productivity, sales volume, morale, resilience, and turnover. The New York Times on 28 November chimed in with predictions very similar to mine. Massive growth and polarization is still coming. The meat of the paper is in the action section, going through the many nuanced trade-offs you need to work through carefully to address this set of issues. Go read it and reach out to me.
Hi, this is Peter Brooks. I'm a principal analyst focusing on the economic business value of technology. Post-COVID economics threatens firms' survival. How can a business plan for the future in a pandemic environment? Many businesses are structurally locked into pre-COVID economic conditions. Consequently, their financial business models are at risk. Price stability, flat wages, and low-cost global supply chains have been baked into most business operating models for the last decade or more. Yet now, it seems every month or two there's a new attack on these existing business operating models. First was work from home mania. Recently it's the back to work, supply chains not working, new variants, and more. What's a business to do? Some businesses are being crushed, some are dramatically succeeding. It is my prediction that the do nothing approach, don't worry, be happy, and hope everything works out and we'll go back to normal, won't work. Quote unquote business agility seems to be an emerging answer for today. But what does this really mean? Well, Peter Drucker once wrote, the greatest danger in times of turbulence is not the turbulence, it's to act with yesterday's logic. And we are in a time of turbulence. This is the theme of the post-COVID economics threatened firms survival blog at thinson.com. The intent of this quick read blog is to convince businesses there is a need to change and to provide a framework of the key disruptors so that they can be used to explain within organizations and to boards what has changed and why. The framework identifies the key disruptors that must be addressed by business: inflation, change in consumer spending, change in employee power, supply chain issues, and demographic trends. The blog lists these disruptors, what they mean, and why businesses need to start thinking about post-pandemic economic business reality. As we are looking into 2022 and the years beyond, planning to bridge from the current economic environment back to a normal environment is not an option. Read all about it.
Hi, I'm Richard Marshall. I'm a member of the Analysts Syndicate, and I have been working in the area of mobile and the internet for about 20 years now. And I have found in my research that the major limitation for many people getting online is illiteracy. And in order to be able to use the internet, at the moment, you really need to be able to read and write. And that there is a distressingly high number of people in the world who do not have that level of literacy. And that denies them the access that is critical for many people's economic and educational advancement. Internet access has been shown through many wonderful activities that have happened in different countries where, for example, fishermen can identify where they can get the best price for the catch that they're landing, or farmers can take it to the best market, or people can send money to their family without having to travel there with cash. These are all huge benefits, but they require you to be able to read and write and use the device in a way that may be unfamiliar to many people. Voice brings those benefits to vastly more people. We currently only have a third of the world's population on the internet. If we can use voice technology at the edges, we can bring in the remaining people from this, and that will give them huge educational benefits. It gives them access to healthcare, financial transfers. It's just an incredible opportunity that we have if we can make voice acceptable on the edge, on low-cost devices, without using extensive amounts of bandwidth. This is all within our capabilities. So please read all about this in this piece that is online at Voice Will Bring the Next Billion Online. Follow the link and let me know what you think about it.
Hi, I'm Richard Steen, and I'm an industry analyst and author, and I'm a member of the Analysts Syndicate. So one of the things I watch for is mega trends in the technology world we all live in. And I've been tracking how we got from the introduction of the steam engine, which led to the Industrial Revolution, all the way to SpaceX. So 300 years of history. And of course, things are accelerating. And a lot of that in my field and what I look at in the engineering world is digital control systems. So basically feedback loops applied to physical systems. And the changes that we're seeing in the 2000s here is led by the introduction of digital sensors and particularly digital accelerometers, which were introduced in one of the earliest versions of the iPhone. And the industry just took off after that for accelerometers and iPhones, but also that led to robotics, drones, 3D printers, reusable rockets, hoverboards, and segways, all using accelerometers in order to help computers interface with the real physical world. This is leading to a new era of technology, and understanding that trend will help you make your own predictions about what's next and what's coming. Now, there's a downside to this, right? Because these are disruptive trends, just like the railroad and the telegraph changed society dramatically. All these trends are changing society as well. And policymakers will have to be very cognizant of the fact that automation, robotics, new means of transportation will disrupt the workforce and displace some people who've made their living doing physical work. So please read my column at the Analysts Syndicate. And when you're done, reach out to me.
My research starts to answer one question. Are C-suite executives late using blockchain in strategic transformation opportunities? My research shows that over 45% of C-suite executives are late using blockchain. Over 50% in 2022, C-suite executive plans now call for newer blockchain technology 3.0. It should accelerate to 70% by 2023. We see that blockchain is actually mainstream now in fintech, according to JP Morgan's research. That covers financial services and banks and now leaks into all the other industries for opportunities. Why should C-suite executives adopt blockchain? Well, Blockchain 3.0 is a game changer. It leverages not only public but also enterprise private blockchain platforms. It uses advanced smart contracts, as well as the proof of stake validation, is called POS, that can significantly speed up and boost your computational time for adoption. And it also leverages artificial intelligence and machine learning. How does this relate to C-suite executives like you, and what should you do about it? Well, in both government and businesses, they can go ahead and apply this to many opportunities to be able to have efficiency, speed, security, as well as more usability from the standpoint of using it in your operations. And it will also reduce cost, fraud, computing errors, and risk. Please note that there's a blockchain vendor shortlist to help you jumpstart your efforts in the note. When we get into the question of does C-suite have other key blockchain opportunities, there are two big developments you need to know about. One is leverage blockchain integration. This is perfect for 5-edge computing networks for software, whereby the networks will be using artificial intelligence and machine learning along with multi-cloud applications and computing. The other area that you need to pay attention to is central banks and stable coin cryptocurrencies. We see that there will be 3 new US and EU cryptocurrencies out by 2025. What this means is that all your process and operations will have to be able to use these new currencies, and it would put a lot of stable coins out of business once they come online. To future-proof your blockchain success, you'll need more research for global opportunities to make sure that you're refreshing the regulations and standards. Plan for more critical blockchain developments in 2 areas that are important. One that's in play right now is cybersecurity with AI-enabled platforms, not just the algorithms that they're using from the older techniques and solutions. And the second one is applying Blockchain 3.0 to edge computing. The actions that you want to take is take a look at the section called C-Suite Takeaway section, which walks you through critical planning decisions and actions, and where you need to work through carefully to unlock the business value Blockchain 3.0 for you. See the slide below for the link.
I'm Richard Marshall. I have been researching the topic of the future of work for the last few years, but this particular piece of work was done with Carol Roswell, Donna Fitzgerald, Jim Duggan, Pat Phelan, and myself. What we are observing is that employers are increasingly disconnected from their employees, and that the employees feel this. And the model for how people work together and how they do their work is fundamentally changing. But a lot of organizations don't realize this. They are stuck in the way they used to do stuff. But the pandemic has really cast this into very sharp relief so that people are painfully aware of the fact that their workplace isn't delivering what they want. And this has led to massive resignations, people retiring early. And what we need to do is create flexible human-centric structures and approaches within organizations. This is vital if you wish to retain key staff. And it is vital for organizations to be able to understand the needs of their workers and not just look at what it is that they think themselves need to be delivered. And you can read all about this research at the Great Economic Reordering, the role of work changing dramatically over the next few years. And if you follow that link, you'll be able to find a blog post, and we're all available to talk further about this subject that is of immense economic importance to businesses and government organizations throughout the world.
Hi, is the blockchain a failure? A relic of the past? Will it be remembered by posterity as a stupid, nerdy tool that required the entire energy in the universe just to process financial transactions? Well, not really. I think we should give it a second chance. This is an entirely new generation of the blockchain technology being deployed as we speak by companies like Algorand or Ethereum 2. And I expect the next 5 years, 4 to 5 years, to tell us if this generation of the blockchain will perform at scale and consequently will be able to fulfill the grandiose, bold initial goals of the blockchain concept, which is not just tracking cheese or organic eggs. There are much wider goals behind. Just take a look at our posts on the Analysts Syndicate. I authored one just right now, and from them you can inspect another chain and a full chain of posts behind it. Blockchain, if it turns out to be working over the next 5 years, has transformational potential for both business and society. So stay tuned. In fact, I suggest that you should devote moderate investment to getting your hands on the technology now over the next 4 to 5 years, while the pilot projects will tell us if it works at scale. Because if it turns out to be working, then that's an opportunity you want to take advantage of. So stay tuned and take a look at the blog on the Analysts Syndicate. Bye.